Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and our most welcome guests. A very warm welcome to the 21st meeting of the Champion Evaluators Toastmasters Club. As we begin today, I'm reminded of the words of Albert Einstein, who said, "Once you stop learning, you start dying." It is a simple thought, yet a powerful one. No matter how experienced we become, there is always something new to learn, a different perspective to consider, a skill to refine, or an insight to take away. Perhaps that is what keeps us coming back to Toastmasters year after year. As we approach the final few meetings of this Toastmasters year, it is inspiring to see that the enthusiasm to learn, share, and grow remains as strong as ever. This evening, give us another opportunity to. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
Savita.
okay. This evening gives us another opportunity to listen carefully, evaluate thoughtfully, and learn from one another through every role we take up. Before we begin, just a few reminder. Please keep your phones on silent and microphones muted when not speaking. And if possible, keep your video on so we can stay connected and engaged. With that, let us look forward to another enriching session today together. To take us forward, may I invite our club president, DTM Jyotika Shetty, whose commitment continues to keep this club moving forward meaningfully. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salian. Let's give her a huge round of applause for beginning this meeting with her smile and her trademark stories and insights. Thank you very much. It was 1892, and the time was the First World War, or even before that. First World War was somewhere in 1900s. So it was 1892 at Stanford University in the US. There were two poor students who were not able to pay their fees. So they approached the very famous pianist Paderewski to perform in their college. And at that time, Paderewski was quite a big star, very big star. Obviously, they didn't have the money to arrange for this, but they had a small arrangement with him, and they said that we would raise the money from the tickets and they would be able to pay the pianist as well as pay their fee. So they asked him to perform for $2,000 and he agreed. But unfortunately, these two poor students were only able to raise $1,600 from the concert. They were embarrassed, they didn't know what to say, and they went to the pianist and said that if you can give us, we'll pay you $400 later, but for now you accept whatever is here because we'll also be able to pay our fees. They also gave a check to Paderewski of $400 and they requested him to encash it later. But instead of shouting and scolding, Paderewski humbly accepted their offer. He said, "You don't have to worry." He said, I'll be okay for a fee cut. In fact, I'll also pay your fees. It was unbelievable for the two poor students that Paderewski, such a famous star, did this. Years passed. It was a time for the First World War. The pianist Paderewski had now become the Prime Minister of Poland. Poland was ravaged due to the war and was in dire need for food and ammunition. He approached the United States to help them, and the US President Hoover quickly sent food and supplies and helped Poland during the war. When Paderewski went on to thank President Hoover, Hoover said that he didn't need to thank him. He was just returning the favor. He said he was one of those two poor students who he had helped once upon a time. And this was their time to pay back. Now, you're probably wondering why am I narrating this story today? Well, what is the connection with Toastmasters? I just want to remind you all that these little things that we do sometimes create a big impact in someone's life. just like Paderewski, who agreed to take a fee cut and in fact pay the tuition fee, was a very big deal for these two young gentlemen who later went on to become such great personalities in the world. We as Toastmasters, when we attend meetings, it's just not about self-improvement. In fact, we are helping others grow. Let's look at our own club. By sitting here, being evaluators, evaluating, being panel evaluators, we're actually helping a speaker become better. In our other Toastmasters meeting, by becoming an R counter or a grammarian, we are actually helping maybe someone who's stuttering to become a better speaker. They'll always remember for what we do. So one thing that I want to say this evening is that let's turn up for the meetings. Let's take the roles that we have. You never know the impact that you're creating in others' lives. With that being said, wishing each and everyone a warm welcome to the 21st meeting of Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club. This being the last but one meeting for the year, this program year, I'm really filled with joy looking back at the 1 year that we've spent together. We still have another meeting to go, but today is filled with a very important event as well, and that's our club elections that is going to happen at the end of the meeting. I would like to now also welcome our brand new member who's joined the club. I wasn't there last time to welcome him. He's Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonsalves, who's a new member who's joined our club. Neil, a warm welcome to our club. And yes, let's clap for Neil. We welcome you with all our heart, open arms, and welcome to our beautiful club. We hope to learn from you, and I think the emotion is, or the feeling is mutual. We also have Deepa Surendran here. Deepa, particularly I want to congratulate Deepa, is because today we have noticed, or we have understood, or we have learned that Deepa has been awarded the prestigious President's Citation Award by Toastmasters International. For those of you who are not aware, yes, Deepa cannot switch on her video now. I think she's somewhere else and she will be switching on a little later. But Deepa, I'm sure you hear us. We are really super proud of you. Now, Deepa, for those of you who do not know, is the past district director of District 127, who during her time also became the #1 in the world. She was the #1 district. She took District 127 to #1 in the world. And I also happen to be from District 127. And Deepa and I started off as division directors together back in. So we go a long way back as Toastmasters and as friends. We're so proud of Deepa being one of our members in this club, and she's getting the prestigious President's Citation. Is not at all a small thing. It is a big deal. So hearty congratulations again, Deepa. Super proud of you. Amongst us today, we have one guest. I don't know if the guest is ready to introduce, but Soundaryan, may I request you to please unmute yourself and switch on your video if it's possible. And tell us your name. Obviously, we know your name is Soundaryan, but what do you do, and what brings you here? Soundaryan, are you there? Soundaryan, are you there? All right, I think let's move on. Maybe we'll give him or her another chance later. But let's go on with the meeting. Let's proceed with the meeting. We have a lot of things, interesting things, and we have a very beautiful speech today. But I'll leave it to our Toastmaster of the evening to introduce all of that to us. And to do the honors, may I introduce this evening our Toastmaster of the evening, our VP Education, Vice President Education, who's instrumental in putting our meetings together and also smooth running of our meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear champions, please help me welcome with a thunderous round of applause our VP Education and Toastmaster of the evening, Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodrigues. Over to you, Dad. Daryl, unmute yourself.
Two Daryls. There is some issue with my laptop. So, Jyotika, can you get the other Daryl in the waiting room?
But there's no waiting room here. I have disabled the waiting room.
There are two Daryls.
There are two Daryls already on the screen.
Yes. There is some issue with my other laptop, so I had to.
Oh, it is echoing, I believe.
Okay.
If
Right.
you can make
So,
me the co-host. whatever
Alright.
it is.
okay. Go ahead.
The other Daryl has to be made the co-host. So
Okay. All right. There are two Daryls. Which one it is? Okay. All right. Done. Yes. Go ahead, Daryl. Cannot speak. You cannot unmute yourself.
it's echoing, right?
Yeah. You'll have to probably exit
I
from one of the device.
can't use those laptop.
Maybe your mobile. All right. So, do you want me to proceed, Daryl, till the time you fix your?
I
All
think
right.
it's fixed now, right? You can
It's
hear me
fixed.
clearly.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Please go ahead.
Right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 21st meeting of Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club. I'd like to begin and say that this is no ordinary club and this is no ordinary meeting. We are a club filled with champions who believe in the simple idea that feedback is only about moving forward. We take pride in the art of giving and receiving feedback through evaluations that elevate. Whether you're a new member or a distinguished Toastmaster, there's one truth that we all share and correlate. It's that we grow. We grow when we are guided. And tonight, we're going to witness that essence of growth for the next 45 minutes. Our club meeting is divided into three segments. The first segment is the prepared speech segment, where we will have one speaker deliver a speech based on objectives. The second segment is the evaluation segment, where we will hear a couple of evaluators evaluate the speech that was presented. And the third segment is the panel evaluation, where we will deep dive and look into or analyze how the evaluators performed when they provided their evaluation. Our timer for today is distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salian, who will change the backgrounds as per the timing signal: red, yellow, green, yellow, and red. So speakers, evaluators, and panel team, please ensure that you observe our timer while you present your speech or evaluation. That being said, we'll directly move into the prepared speech segment, where we have one speaker today who will present his rehearsed speech. Our speaker for today is Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonzalez. Distinguished Toastmaster Neil, can you please unmute and repeat, "I am a champion speaker"?
I am a champion speaker.
I confirm that you're clearly audible. For the rest of the audience, this is a contest speech that will be presented. So timing guidelines are 5 to 7 minutes. Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonzalez. Titanic. Titanic. Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonzalez.
Okay, for a change, I'm gonna sit and deliver this speech. I hope it's okay because if I stand, I think the blur effect and I don't have much space around. I hope it's okay. Yeah. Oops. Great. How many times have you watched this beautiful movie, The Titanic? Once, twice, thrice? You can put in the chat box. How many times have you watched The Titanic? One of the greatest movies that has ever seen. Yes, so many times. 14 Oscar nominations, 11 Academy Awards, and James Cameron came out with this beautiful movie, The Titanic, that anyone and everyone who watches this movie cannot just forget. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and the guests here, good evening. This beautiful movie, The Titanic, brings such nostalgic memories for me. I watched it during my childhood days, and yes, I watched it 3 times on the trot. I loved it for the way in which a tragedy was made into something so beautiful, a romantic movie with such beautiful scenes in it. My dear friends, if you're wondering whether Jack and Rose was real, well, Jack was real. There was a person called Jack on that ship, but Rose was not real. But there were a lot of things that was pictured so realistically. A tragedy that the biggest tragedy that the world has ever seen. Do you know how many people lost their lives that fateful night? On April 15th, 1912, when the ship hits an iceberg, 1,500 people lost their lives. Even today, we look at it as one of the biggest maritime tragedy that has ever happened. And yes, there were people saved too. 700 odd people were saved. Dear friends, I'm not here to talk about the movie. I'm here to talk about what happened after the ship sank. We all know the story of the Titanic. When the ship was made, the architect or the designer of the ship goes on record and says, even God cannot sink this ship. Rest is history. On April 10th, when the ship set sail from Southampton to New York, instead of reaching New York in 4 days' time, it reaches the depth of the Pacific Ocean. Dear friends, a lot of people lost their lives, yet so many people were saved. There were 3 ships in the vicinity. There was a ship by the name Samson, which was only 7 nautical miles away from Titanic. And 7 nautical miles is really close. You can actually see what Titanic is going through. Those cries of those helpless people were seen and heard by this ship. But Samson never really wanted to help because they were hunting for seals. And you know, these seals are these illegal water animals that should not be hunted. And Samson was hunting them. So they didn't want to get caught and they did not bother to help. There was another ship 14 nautical miles away from Titanic. The ship was called Californian. Californian did not see what Titanic was going through, but Californian did see those flares that was lit up by Titanic. You would have seen that in the movie. Those SOS signals were received by Californian. But the captain of the ship, when he looked around, he saw a lot of iceberg around the ship. So he felt conditions were not favorable. So he goes and tells his crew, we shall wait till morning and then we'll go see what Titanic has met. In fact, that night they could not sleep. They had to convince themselves the Titanic would be safe. Well, we all know of this ship. 52 nautical miles away from Titanic was the ship called Carpathia. It was heading in the opposite direction of Titanic. If Titanic was going from Southampton to New York, Carpathia was going from New York to Southampton. They didn't know where to go. In fact, when they received the SOS signal, the captain of Carpathia, he kneels down and he prays for direction. He asks his crew to go full steam in the opposite direction and they meet Titanic. It was this ship that saved those 700 lives that fateful night, April 15th, 1912. My dear friends, why am I telling this story to each one of you? Today, when we look around, we too can see a lot of Titanics around us. People dying, people asking for help, people who need the helping hand that they so desperately need. You and me can also be like these 3 ships. We can be like Samson. Often we can ignore to people's needs and cries. We can continue in our selfish activities. Or we can be like Californian. We can wait for conditions to be favorable to go and help someone. I remember in my university days, I used to wait till I study the whole textbook to actually help my friend learn something. Or we could be like Carpathia. When we see someone in need, when we see a Titanic around us, we can forget ourselves. for a moment, we can think of that person who needs help and go ahead and help that person. Because it is the goodness that goes around that comes back to you. Dear friends, wherever the story of Titanic is told, the good deed of Carpathia is also mentioned. Today, this evening, as you listen to me, my only prayer, and I urge each one of us to be more and more like Carpathia. Let us look around and let us save those Titanics. Because if we be a Carpathian, I'm sure the world would be a better place to live in. Over to you.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Neil. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Not sure how many of you felt, but when I heard the title Titanic, I was taken back to the movie and pictured myself as Jack, at least till we heard Neil. So thank you, Neil, for sharing that. Can I now request the timer to share the timer's report for the speed segment?
Yeah, DTM Neil took 6 minutes, 11 seconds.
Right. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Savita. The evaluators will now move to the breakout room for a period of 5 minutes to prepare their notes. Right. Both evaluators have joined the room. Can I request the timer to show me a red card at the end of 5 minutes? In the meantime, we are going to play a quick game. So for those of you who are on video, I'm going to assume that you would love to be a part of it. Jyotika, Dr. Ballal, Neil, are you okay to play a short game for the next 5 minutes?
Yes.
All right, then I'll put you on spotlight.
Dr. Ballal, you're muted.
You need to unmute Dr. Ballal.
I would like to opt out because I like to concentrate on the
All
work
right.
at hand.
Sure, no worries.
Yeah,
Anybody
thank you.
else? We'll have one more volunteer for this. So if you'd like to play, please let me know. Okay, distinguished Toastmaster Savita, would you like to play the game?
Let me try.
All right, it's a very simple game. I'm going to ask you all questions. You'll have 5 seconds to answer it. So, for example, if I ask you name 3 fruits, you'll have to say name 3 fruits in 5 seconds, and we'll follow this order: Jyotika, Neil, Savita. All right, and let's see who was able to crack as many answers as possible.
Okay.
Right, let me just quickly save it on my phone. I'll put the volume as loud as possible so you can hear it as well. All right, Jyotika, name 3 things you can hang on a Christmas tree.
Bells. Okay. Oh my God.
Time
Daryl,
out.
I'm done. Okay.
All right, moving on to Neil. Uh, Neil, name 3 ways to become a millionaire.
3 ways to become a millionaire.
Time is going. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself, Neil.
Sorry. Get a lottery. Hope you become lucky. Go buy something and invest on it, or marry a rich girlfriend, and then you'll be a millionaire.
Well, nice, but time is up. I'll probably give you the next time. Divya has raised her hand. Divya?
To some other Divya.
Oh, is it okay? All right,
Sorry.
moving on to distinguished Savita. Name 3 animals you would like to have as a pet.
Dog, cat, a lion.
Okay, you'd like to have a lion as a pet, but I'll give you that. I'd love to see that. Jyotika, name 3 dances.
Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and Odissi.
All right, I'll give it to you. Neil, name 3 reasons why you will be expelled from school.
Okay, being absent, not studying well, and then creating mischief.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Good one. Okay, I don't know if this is by chance, okay? DTM Savita, name 3 annoying mom habits.
Annoying habits. Crying and
Ah, time up.
oh, shit.
Okay, let me. Jyotika, name or make 3 funny noises. I didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear? Come on. I put so much of effort. That's a lie. You're cheating.
I actually didn't hear it. I saw you mimicking, but I didn't hear anything.
Come on, Daryl.
Okay,
Come
I'll give it
on.
to since I saw you mimicking, I'll give it to you. Okay.
Okay.
Neil, name 3 things you should take on a camping trip.
Okay, mobile phone, clothes, and tent.
Hey, good. Give it to you. Savita ma'am, name 3 places starting with the letter M.
Mangalore,
Nice.
Madkeri, and
Ah, Mumbai. Mumbai girl.
Mumbai. Mumbai.
Mysuru.
Mysore.
Right. A few things that are irrelevant, so I'm trying to. Jyotika,
Okay,
name.
done.
Okay, time. Okay, let's see who won. Okay, we have. Don't know who.
Can you give me
We
one
have.
last one?
Then I have to complete the cycle.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
But good job. Let's give them a huge round of applause for being so supportive. I hope you enjoyed and had fun, although, yes, time was not on your side. It's now time to move on to the second segment. But before that, to make it. What I'll do now is share the voting link in the chat. But you can open it after the evaluation segment, right? Let's move on to the second segment, which is the evaluation segment. And this is that particular segment where we learn. It's time to invite our first evaluator from the breakout room. Let me quickly spotlight Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra, our first evaluator. Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra, can you please repeat, I am a champion evaluator?
I am a champion evaluator.
I confirm that you're clearly audible and visible. Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra, you may begin your evaluation.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Daryl. The hallmark of a speech is the ability to connect with the audience, and today, DTM Neil did connect with his counter speech. Good evening, champion evaluators and guests. Neil started with an opening remark or a question as to how many of us watched the movie Titanic. And it took me back to those college days when I did watch, and it was an emotional state for everybody in the room. He gave a gist of it with a powerful message on how we could even help. Connected his speech with a personal analogy of himself in college. He had language to his stride, hand gestures, and voice worked together seamlessly to amplify the impact of the speech. It was slow, clear, and cheerful, emotional, and enthusiastic as well. How could Neil refine the speech is the question. You could have connected it with more personal analogies. He could have gone a bit deeper and used the body language better if only he could stand and deliver, but he had his own shortcomings as he announced earlier. Neil, you had still time to complete your speech. You could have gone further, as I said, and given us more examples, a little more, you know, analogies, as I said. If you could incorporate these suggestions with your speech, I'm sure your speech would be a top notch. You had your eye contact, but since this is a virtual stage, I'm not sure how many of us watched your eye contact. I would only say the speech touched my heart as it touched me when I watched it personally in the theater. And I would sum it up as champions are remembered not for how they spoke, but how they made others feel. And today, it did make us feel by bringing out this movie into your speech. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Lyra. Let's give her a huge round of applause for that evaluation. I will now invite our second evaluator back to the main session. Please put your hands together and welcome our second evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Malini Hebar. Distinguished Toastmaster Malini, please repeat, I am a champion evaluator.
I am a champion evaluator.
I confirm that you're clearly audible and visible. The stage is all yours, distinguished Toastmaster Malini.
Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonzalez, I must say you nailed it. Neil nailing something is interesting, I must say. And I would like to also say how you nailed it. You nailed it with a few clever moves, emotional moves, ethical moves. Clever because right at the beginning you preempted criticism by saying that you would remain seated, and you gave an explanation as to why you would remain seated. That was a clever move on your part. Emotional move because you took the story, the highly moving story of Titanic, and you also personalized it by telling us what impact it had on you in your earlier days. And you were a great storyteller, I must admit to that. And ethical move because you made us all think. We went beyond the tragedy. You made us all think about those ships, and you drew the analogy between the ships and us. And you asked us how many of us would be in a position or with the willingness to help others. That I felt was the message that the speech had, and I felt that it was a good message that you placed before us. Are you selfish, or do you have some ethics in your life to follow? In addition to all this, you also had devices that you made use of, devices such as irony, because you said instead of reaching New York, the ship reached the bottom of the sea. So you had technically a tight speech and emotionally an impactful speech with your moves, clever moves. Now, when it comes to suggestions for improvement, I give this suggestion very empathetically because I have been told this before, that I smile, and I smile even when I shouldn't be smiling. For example, even when I refer to something that is not really that is not really with a happy note. The smile doesn't leave my face. That was the evaluation given to me once. And today, when I looked at your smiling face, I felt the same, because even when it came to some of those moving parts of the speech, you still had the same smile on your face. Is it possible to make your facial expressions a little different at different points of time? Is one question that I pose for you. And in the first 5 sentences, you had the word beautiful 5 times. Can you use other words like splendid, remarkable, alluring, attractive? You have plenty of words, especially because it's a prepared speech. You can change the words. I felt the transitions were a little abrupt. For example, when you spoke about Jack and Jill, you didn't tell us, first of all, that it carried more than 2,000 passengers, and out of these, were these the real characters? That could have been done a little more smoothly, I felt. But having said this, let me say that it was a remarkable speech with a good structure and with good suggestions for us as audience. With a little bit of improvement in transition, it would be a splendid speech. Back to you.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Malini. Let's give her a huge round of applause for that wonderful evaluation. Can I now request the timer, distinguished Toastmaster Savita, to present the timer's report for the evaluation segment?
Distinguished Lyra took 3 minutes 18 seconds, and distinguished Toastmaster Malini ma'am took 3 minutes 27 seconds. So both qualified.
All right, thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Savita. The voting link was shared in the chat box 10 minutes ago. I will reshare it again. Please do vote. We'll take 1 minute and then move on to the next segment. Received 5 responses so far.
Had I to time this? No, right?
It's fine.
Please send me the timing for the panel.
Yes. Right, I'll be waiting for another 10 seconds before I close. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and friends, we now arrive at the hallmark of this club, because now we enter the third segment, the panel evaluation session. Now, what makes this unique is that we're not going to just listen to one voice, but a chorus of experienced evaluators who are going to offer insights so that we can improve evaluations. Our panel here today is not going to judge, but they're going to help us feel elevated. To moderate this panel, please put your hands together and welcome our panel moderator, distinguished Toastmaster Deepa Surendran. Distinguished Toastmaster Deepa, before you begin, I also like you to inform the timer about the timing for this particular segment. When do you want the flags to be shown?
We have only 10 minutes for the session now, right? Today? Okay, so first, for the first evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra, can you please show 3, 4, 5? And same thing for the second evaluator as well. So when it is amber, we will try to, close the segment. Thank you very much. Thank you, Daryl, and thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Savita. Am I audible? I have a problem with my mic, I think. Is that okay? Okay. Thank you. So we have listened to a beautiful speech and followed by brilliant evaluations by Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra and Distinguished Toastmaster Malini Hebar. Yes. So this is an advanced club. So without going for much encouragement, let's listen from the panelist how they understood the evaluations of the speech. Right? We have two brilliant panelists also there. Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika Shetty, who is the incoming CGD for the district, for the newly formed district. And we have Dr. Distinguished Toastmaster Balal also, who is a neurosurgeon. So both are highly qualified professionals to give us their opinion. So without spending much time, now let me start my questions. How brilliantly the evaluators evaluated the speech. Let's start with the analytical quality. For the first evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra. So, Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika, how good was the analytical quality of the evaluator?
Well, I would like to say, good evening, everyone. I would like to say that the evaluator tried her level best. She definitely spoke from her heart and said whatever she could, like language, hand gestures, voice. So everything was there. But I felt that a bit of structure would have probably enhanced the analytical quality.
What do you want to add, Dr. Balal?
Yeah, I agree with DTM Jyotika Shetty. I found that analytical quality was lagging, and there was a lot of repetition throughout, while summarizing, and even in the beginning during analysis of a story which is very well known. So could have avoided some of the repetitions and would have been able to put everything together in a better fashion.
So, what do you think? How can the evaluator improve her style?
Me or
Dr. Balal?
But Doctor?
Yeah, is it for me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel that analytical quality always improves when you're more focused while listening. And that is the only way in any speech, because our mind wanders. It wanders and wanders, both. And when it does that, we are not able to focus on the speech. Maybe I do not know the reason. Maybe Lyra will share it with us later when she gets a couple of seconds to justify. Maybe she was carried away by the story of Titanic itself, or maybe she was carried away by all the admiration she has for Neil Gonzalez. So, one of those things. So one can only be by being focused.
Okay.
One
Thank
has
you
to be
very much.
focused to the whole story.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. DTM Jyotika, your opinion.
So
How
I
can we
agree.
can the evaluator improve the skills on analytical quality evaluation?
I think the best is to have one formula in mind. What exactly do you want to say? If your mind is wandering around, just say two commendations, two recommendations, and then summarize it. That keeps it very, very simple. Because there were too many things and there were repetitions, so she the speaker kind of wandered here and there a little bit. So not a little bit, it kind of affected the entire presentation as well. So I would say just have that formula in mind and put those elements in there.
Okay. To summarize on the first point, that is analytical quality, to avoid any distraction, I suggest after taking the points from our panelists, what I suggest is have a checklist. So this checklist can be made based on the judging sheet from the speech, the speech contest, judging sheet of the international speech contest, or from the evaluation sheet for the project as per the pathways project requirements. So have a checklist. This is the preparation for the evaluation, and that has to be done by all the evaluators if you want to improve from this level of evaluation to this champions level of evaluation. So I suggest please focus on preparing the checklist at this moment before going for the next evaluation. Then what about the recommendations, Pritam Jyotika? How
I
good
think
it was?
again, recommendations also was not fully organized. If you see, she said to refine. The question is how to refine. And then she says connect it with personal analogies, gone deeper, body language better. Again, it was repeated. I would say if I didn't really get to understand what exactly was connected with more personal analogies. So I would say again, demonstrate what you really mean rather than leaving it to the audience to think and try to comprehend what was said. That is one thing. And second thing is once the recommendation is made, do not keep repeating again and bring the old points of commendation back. It kind of dilutes the entire recommendation. This is what I have to say.
Thank you. And Dr. Ballal?
Yeah, I felt Lyra's recommendations were quite cogent, although they were not in any particular kind of order. They were rather random, but there's a lot of sense in what she said. And the most important thing is, she said that if he could have brought more personal examples, because he brought the examples of others, of those people in the ship and the ships who came to rescue. But when he told about how one can help another, and she pointed out that she had another 49 seconds. So she had all the time, 49 for 7 and then another 30 seconds. So could have used that full time in expanding the speech. So I think to that extent, I felt that although not in any particular order, Lyra's recommendations were good, particularly because she pointed out about the use of the time and personal examples.
Thank you very much. And to conclude, for the panelists' recommendations, opinion on the recommendations, my suggestion will be to have a proper checklist and then recommendations also. In evaluation also, in my opinion, it is a prepared speech. We should have a template for what we are going to say, how we are going to say, so that your brilliant points, Ditam Lyra had brilliant points, but at the same time, if we have to be presented in a proper manner, she has to come prepared next time. That is the one suggestion to summarize. Thank you very much. And we would love to listen to more evaluations from Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra. Now, moving on with Distinguished Toastmaster Malini's evaluation, I would like to start with Dr. Ballal on the analytical quality, please. Your opinions.
Yeah, thank you. I like the opening of the evaluation that Malini said, you nailed it. And yes, you nailed it. And she told why how the presenter nailed it and how he nailed it. So I like that opening. And I felt that the personalization that she brought about in the analytical quality, that the ship, a universal story, and then saying about his personal part and congratulated him on his on being a great storyteller. So to that extent, she analyzed the whole thing, the opening, the body, and the closing of the speech in her analysis itself. So that's about the analytical quality. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And Distinguished Master Jyotika.
Well, I agree with Dr. Ballal. Yes, the opening was very good. You nailed it, kind of stood out. And the three aspects: clever, emotional, and ethical. However, knowing the evaluator, I would have loved her to go a little bit deeper in terms of the analytical quality. Although she mentioned you were clever because you remained, you stated your position from the very beginning. Then she said you took the story and you personalized it and how it impacted. But this was okay to state as an opening statement. But what exactly stood out in the speech? And I say this because I'm bringing the summary right now because it's quite relevant. Because in the summary, she mentioned good structure, whereas this was not brought out in the commendation. So if this was summarized, then probably a bit of structure, a little bit on analysis on the structure would have helped the speaker become a better. I think the speaker would have been able to take something out of
Understand.
this.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yes. Combining both the panelists' opinion on the analytical quality, The evaluator did a wonderful job, especially the technique used to present the analysis was really good from the beginning. I mean, it was encouraging or motivational, you could say, and bit of mentioning how to present it in a better way. That's what Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika has mentioned. So I hope the evaluator understood the recommendations or the opinions. And moving on with the next step, how good were the recommendations?
Yeah.
Were
What
they
I
helpful, positive,
can I?
Dr. Ballal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What I felt was the most prominent recommendation which came out, which I too noticed, was the lack of congruence between what was said and the facial expressions. We know Neil's lovely smile, but it has to be. The gestures have to change according to the story, and that is something that stood out for me. If Malini had not said it, I would have given him a tinkle and told him on the mobile. So that I think was a very good recommendation. It was concise and encouraging, and a few more personal stories she said and how it came out, and about Rose, and she said Jack and Jill, but it was Jack and Rose, so that's all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika?
Well, again, I would like to agree with Dr. Ballal as far as the first recommendation is concerned. The smile part of it definitely is the right thing. And again, she spoke about the repetitive usage of beautiful, and she gave some suggestions there. As far as the last one was concerned, which is transition, where she said it was abrupt, perhaps a little bit of cues on how the speaker could improve would probably have helped him do better, is what I felt.
That's true, yeah. So the transition part, even I couldn't understand because he had lot of stuff. The speaker had lot of stuff to be part of the speech, and then how to arrange it. I think mentors would have been done a better job than the evaluator. But anyway, that is a relevant recommendation. So thank you very much. Now, to conclude with both the panelists' opinion, I found. Both of them were in consensus in their opinion, and it was well explained. So I don't have to explain it again. That's what. Yes,
Deepa, can
Madam
I
Jyotika.
specifically for this particular evaluation, I'd like to talk about the summary part of it. And the reason why I say this is because in the past, that is one recommendation that we've all given. And I would like to congratulate her for making an effort to bring the summary into this whole presentation, because in the past, we've seen sometimes the speaker or the evaluator has missed this. So congratulations on making an effort for categorically bringing the summary part of it back. Remarkable, good structure, good suggestion. Only thing is, maybe you could elaborate a little bit by actually reminding the audience of what those suggestions were, whether it was the commendation and the recommendation. That I believe would give a wholesome conclusion to the entire evaluation.
Thank you very much for reminding that particular point because I skipped it in both the cases because there was no relevance. But in being in a champion evaluators club, and that too advanced club, summation is a must for evaluators. Please remember that, and it is not one-line summary that the speech was brilliant, and then if you include the recommendations, then the speech will be a greater speech. In that case, if this is the summation given by the evaluation contestants, then they will get maybe 0, 1, 2, 3 points. But if you need to get 15 points, as DTM Jyotika mentioned, we need to mention everything what we mentioned during the commendation and recommendations, so that only after listening to the summation part, the speaker would understand what was the evaluation about. So that level of summary is required to get full points if you are participating in a contest. But both the evaluators did a wonderful job, and then well analyzed by our panelists also. Thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika and Dr. Ballal. And all the very best to the speaker. You did a wonderful job. Next time we are expecting a better speech in this club. Thank you very much. And back to our Toastmaster of the day, Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster Deepa, our panel moderator, our panelists, Distinguished Toastmasters Jyotika and Dr. Ballal, and our timer, Distinguished Toastmaster Savita, for keeping or ensuring our panel moderation or evaluation segment was smooth and on time. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, as we come to the end of this meeting, let's click a picture before we move on. So it's cue for all of you to come on video. Those of you who can, yes. Also, everyone can actually. All right, Soundarian, if you're there, please come on video. All right, 3, 2, 1, smile, everyone. Let me just. All right, fantastic. As we come to the end of this meeting, I'd like to conclude and ask you to take a moment and reflect on the feedback that you heard today, the growth that you witnessed, and on the potential within you to evaluate, elevate, and empower others. Thank you very much, and I'll now hand it back to our president, distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika,
Well, if
for
you
the rest of
permit,
the
I have a
meeting.
question for the panel moderator. Just very short question.
All
Can I?
right.
Yeah. See, all of you, when you recommend, when you're a moderator, you say that you must do this, 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 this. But when you do all that, then a lot of points will get missed in the analysis and recommendations when you do a summary. So we cannot bring all the points that you want to in your analytical quality and recommendations and suggestions for improvement, then repeat. So there will be points which will get missed out, and you run the risk of being over time. So one has to, particularly for me, you have to teach me as to how to kind of sieve it, how to get the essence, and then yet stay within time. You want so many things said and yet be within time and summarize as well.
Okay. So to answer this question, that's the main reason I believe mentors advise our evaluators when they are going for contest, like three recommendations and two recommendations. So if that is the rule, then we will be able to give a beautiful summary. Okay, this is my formula. But I've seen some brilliant evaluators who is giving some 8, 9, 10 good positives about the speech, and then 3, 4, 5, what is that? The improvement areas as well. But when they are summarizing, they prioritize the top 3 and then 2. Okay, that will be a proper summation. What I mentioned was, if after listening only the summation statement, the speaker should understand how to improve their speech to the next level. That is the requirement, and we are learning how to summarize everything. In our life, I have to repeat at least 3, 4 times, the same thing to my husband and kids. And if I'm not learning learning summary or summarization, then I will not, I'll not be happy with having 24 hours per day, right?
Thank you.
All right. From the audience, before I move on to the election, do you have any questions, anything to say for it's closing time, meeting closing time, but I'd still like to give 1 minute to the audience to give some recommendations to the speaker or to the evaluator. Would you like to do that? Or you're very happy and you want to go on Titanic that Neil pictured in front of us? I think they all want to take the Titanic, Neil.
Today,
So, well,
Daryl should
yes.
have asked us to pose in that manner for the picture.
Titanic, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so thank you very much. 1 hour and we have closed the meeting. This is the fastest we have closed the meeting. That is because we have a business session now. So hearty congratulations to all. I don't know whether we have the results here, whether. Okay, all right, we have the results here as well. I enjoyed the meeting. Neil, fantastic. I'm not going to evaluate your speech again, but you really took me back to the Titanic days, and it was one of the beautiful movies that I've seen. But your speech definitely made us relive the memory that the yesteryears have given us. So wonderful. I enjoyed your speech. Thank you very much. And the best evaluator for this evening is distinguished Toastmaster Malini Hebbar. Hearty congratulations, ma'am. Hearty congratulations, and I hope you have enjoyed the evaluators as well, the panel evaluation. With that, I would now like to move on to the business session before I adjourn the meeting. I'm not going to adjourn the meeting because that's an integral part. So I think I will just move the guest out of this room, as this is, all right, I'll put the guest in the waiting room. We all are members of this club, so now we can conduct the business meeting. Now, election is an integral part of how we conduct the club leadership. And every year going through this parliamentary procedure is very important, as we give a transparent and an opportunity to each and every member to take up the leadership roles. Similarly, 1 month back, we had I had sent a message across requesting all of you to nominate yourself, and the nomination chair this time was Distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salyan. Accordingly, all our members who are interested to take up leadership roles have sent the nominations, and therefore I would now like to take the opportunity to invite our nomination chair to please give us your report on the nomination. Over to you, Savita.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. One of the most important responsibilities of a club is to identify and encourage members who are willing to step forward and serve. So as nominations chair, I am pleased to present the nomination received from the club officer position for the Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club for the term July 2026 to June 2027. The following nominations were received: President DTM Deepa Surendran, Vice President Education DTM Daryl Rodrigues, Vice President Membership DTM Neil Gonsalves, Vice President Public Relation Kalika Nidodi, Treasurer DTM Srivatsa GN, Sergeant at Arms Malini Mukund. No valid nomination was received for the position of Secretary. I thank all members who have stepped forward to serve our club. Leadership is a shared responsibility, and the success of the incoming executive committee will depend on the support, participation, and encouragement of every member. This concludes my report. Thank you. Over to you, DTM Jyotika Shetty.
Thank you very much, DTM Savita. Let's give her a huge round of applause for presenting the report in such a clear manner. Thank you very much. Before I proceed, I would also like to declare now or announce that the election secretary for this evening will be Distinguished Toastmaster Malini Hebbar. In the event of single nomination, then she will be doing or casting the single vote on behalf of the club members. Are you ready, DTM Malini?
I agree. I'm not saying that it's lovely to get this.
Malini ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. I will now begin. What is the vote? Okay. I will now begin the elections for Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club officers term for the term 2026-27. For each position, I will call the nominations or any additional nominations 3 times. The order of the election will be President, Vice President Education, Vice President Membership, Vice President Public Relations, Secretary, Treasurer, and Sergeant at Arms. If there are no candidates for a single position, I will instruct the club executive to search for a candidate and hold elections for that position at a later date. If there is only one candidate for a position, I will put a motion that name, that is XYZ, is elected to the position of so-and-so for the year 2026-27. If there is more than one candidate, each individual will have the opportunity to speak for 2 minutes. We will then hold a secret ballot. The winner is the person with the majority of votes. The winner will then be announced. In the event there are more than one candidate, in the event that more than one candidate contests for a position and a secret ballot conducted among the voting members results in a tie, the tie shall be resolved by the secretary, the election secretary casting the deciding vote. Accordingly, the secretary will abstain from voting during the initial secret ballot and shall only exercise a vote if required to break the tie. The nomination orders I have already announced: President, Vice President Education, Vice President Membership, Vice President Public Relations, Secretary, Treasurer, and Sergeant at Arms. I will now begin the election process. For the office of President, there is one nomination received from Deepa Surendran. Deepa, you agree to carry forward with the nomination, right? Thank you. I would now like to open the nomination from the floor. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Since there is no further nominations, nomination for the office of president are hereby declared closed. I now put the following motion to the club that Deepa Surendran be elected president for the term 2026-2027. If the motion is carried, the chair requests the election secretary to cast a single ballot on behalf of the membership. DTM Malini, may I request you to cast a single ballot right on a piece of paper and show us?
Can you see?
It's okay. You've written it, right? All right.
Yes.
I declare the motion carried. I declared Deepa Surendran, Distinguished Toastmaster, elected to the position of President for the term 2026-27. Please congratulate our new President, Distinguished Toastmaster Deepa Surendran. Hearty congratulations. I'll give you an opportunity to speak towards the end once the election is concluded. We'll now move on to the second position, that's Vice President Education. For the office of Vice President Education, there is one nomination from Daryl Rodrigues. Daryl, you would like to continue with your nomination, right?
Yes.
I would now like to open the nomination from the floor. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Since there are no further nominations, nominations for the office of Vice President Education are hereby declared closed. I now put the following motion to the club that Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodrigues be elected as the Vice President Education for the term 2026-2027. If the motion is carried, the chair requests the election secretary to cast a single ballot on behalf of the membership. Thank you very much. I declare the motion carried, and I now declare Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodrigues elected to the position of Vice President Education for the term 2026-2027. Please congratulate him as the Vice President Education for the coming term. Hearty congratulations, Daryl. The next position is for the Vice President membership, and we have received one nomination from Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonsalves. Neil, you would like to proceed with your nomination, right? Thank you. I would now like to open the nomination. So I would now like to open the nomination from the floor. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Since there are no further nominations, nominations for the office of Vice President membership are hereby declared closed. I now put forward the following motion to the club that Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonsalves be elected as the Vice President membership for the term 2026-2027. If the motion is carried, the chair requests the election secretary to cast a single ballot on behalf of the membership. Thank you very much. I declare the motion carried, and I now declare Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonsalves elected to the position of Vice President membership for the term 2026-27. Please congratulate our new Vice President membership. Thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster. Congratulations, Distinguished Toastmaster Neil Gonsalves. We'll now move on to the next position, that is Vice President Public Relations. For the office of Vice President Public Relations, there is one nomination from Kalika Nidodi. Kalika, could you please confirm that you would like to proceed with your nomination? Yes? Okay. I would now like to open the nomination from the floor. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Since there are no further nominations, nominations for the office of Vice President, Public Relations are hereby declared closed. I now put the following motion to the club that Kalika Nidodi be elected as a Vice President, Public Relations for the term 2026-2027. If the motion is carried, the chair requests the election secretary to cast a single ballot on behalf of the membership. Thank you very much. I declare the motion carried, and I now declare Kalika Nidodi elected to the position of Vice President, Public Relations for the term 2026-2027. Please congratulate our new Vice President, Public Relations. Hearty congratulations, Kalika. We'll now move on to the position of Secretary. For the office of Secretary, there is no nomination received. Therefore, I would now like to ask, are there any nominations for the office of Secretary? Please note that this position may not be left vacant as per the club constitution. Therefore, I would now like to open the floor for the nomination from the floor. Are there any nominations for the office of Secretary? Are there any further nominations for the office of Secretary? Are there any further nominations for the office of Secretary? Hearing none, nominations for the office of Secretary are closed. Request the election secretary to record the position as vacant. I direct the newly elected club executive to search for a candidate and hold a special election if required by the club, or appoint an eligible member to the vacant office at a later date. Let's now move on to the next position, that's the treasurer of the club. We have received one nomination from Distinguished Toastmaster Srivatsa GN. Distinguished Toastmaster Srivatsa, would you like to proceed with your nomination? Is he stuck? Srivatsa?
Yes.
Would you like to proceed? Okay, all right. I would now like to open the nomination from the floor. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Since there are no further nominations, nomination for the office of Treasurer are hereby declared closed. I now put the following motion to the club that Distinguished Toastmaster Srivatsa GN be elected as a Treasurer for the term 2026-2027. If the motion is carried, the Chair requests the Election Secretary to cast a single ballot on behalf of the membership. Thank you very much. I declare the motion carried. And I now declare Distinguished Toastmaster Srivatsa GN elected to the position of Treasurer for the term 2026-2027. Please congratulate our new Treasurer. Hearty congratulations, Srivatsa. Let's now move on to the 7th position and the last position this evening, that is Sergeant at Arms. Since there are no, my apologies, I did not, I think we had to read out the roles. Malini ma'am?
That's okay. That could be read out even at the end, right? You finish with this last question.
Since there are now, for the office of the Sergeant at Arms, there is one nomination received from Malini Mukund. Malini, would you like to go forward with your nomination?
Yes.
Thank you. I would now like to open the nomination from the floor for the position of Sergeant at Arms. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Since there are no further nominations, nominations for the office of Sergeant at Arms are hereby declared closed. I now put the following motion to the club that Malini Mukund be elected as the Sergeant at Arms for the term 2026-2027. If the motion is carried, the chair requests the election secretary to cast a single ballot on behalf of the membership. Thank you very much. I declare the motion carried, and I now declare Malini Mukund elected to the position of Sergeant at Arms for the term 2026-2027. Please congratulate Malini Mukund on her election as the Sergeant at Arms of the club for the new term. Hearty congratulations, Malini.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. I'd now like to take the opportunity to invite our election secretary to read out the roles and responsibilities for each of these positions. May I request DTM Malini Hebbar to do the honors.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika Shetty. I read with pleasure the summary of Toastmasters Club officer roles. I begin with the president. The president serves as the club's chief executive officer, managing director, cheerleader, and coach. The president sets the tone for the club and is expected to provide helpful, supportive leadership for all of the club activities. Presides at all executive committee meetings, oversees all club committees, and directs the club in a way that meets the educational growth and leadership needs of members. Working with the executive team, the president establishes plans for club growth and for the distinguished club program. The president serves as the club's representative at the district and international levels. I now take pleasure in reading out the responsibilities of Vice President Education. The Vice President Education is the club's chief scheduler and primary expert on education awards, speech contests, and the mentor program. The VP Ed orients new members to the club and appoints mentor assignments. Make sure all members understand the importance of excellent evaluations and the Toastmaster education program. The VP Ed encourages members to participate in other Toastmasters activities and programs, administers speech contests, participates in executive committee meetings, presides in the absence of the president, attends and votes at area and district council meetings, votes at regional and international business meetings. Now to the role of Vice President membership. The Vice President membership is the primary club recruiter and manages the process of bringing in guests and transforming them into members. By initiating a welcome to guests and providing the information they need to join, maintain a constant influx of new people into your club. The VP membership manages the paperwork related to processing applications. Working with the executive team, the VP membership mentors the membership levels and overcomes membership challenges when they occur. The VPM attends and participates in executive committee meetings. Now to Vice President Public Relations. The VPPR is the club's link to the outside world, notifying the public about the club's existence. The VPPR oversees the website, social media, and brand management for the club. The VPPR notifies the media whenever the club does anything newsworthy and stays current on the publicity material available from Toastmasters International. The VPPR attends and participates in executive committee meetings. Treasurer. The treasurer is the club's chief accountant, managing the bank account, writing checks as approved by the executive committee, and depositing dues, payments, and other revenues. The accurate and timely performance of treasurer duties has a profound effect on the health of the club. The treasurer files all tax documents, notifies members of dues cycles, and submits all dues to world headquarters. Working with the club leadership, the treasurer oversees the budget, attends and participates in executive committee meetings. And finally, to the Sergeant at Arms. The Sergeant at Arms keeps track of all the club's physical properties such as the banner, lectern, and other meeting material. The Sergeant at Arms prepares the facility for meetings and obtains a new meeting space when needed. The SAA chairs the Social and Reception Committee, attends and participates in executive committee meetings. We, of course, have the role of the IPP also being mentioned. The immediate past president provides guidance and serves as a resource to the president, club officers, and members. The IPP chairs the nominating committee, assists in the preparation of the club success plan, and promotes the club's efforts to become a distinguished club. Since we have not yet chosen the secretary, is it necessary for me to read it out?
Okay. You can read it out actually. You can read it out and then later we can decide.
Okay, the secretary is responsible for all club records, correspondence, and taking minutes. The secretary updates and distributes the current roster of paid members and keeps it current in World Headquarters files. The secretary keeps a copy of the club constitution and the standard bylaws for clubs on file. The secretary maintains all club files and documents all executive committee meetings. With this, I come to the end of the responsibilities of different club officers.
Thank you very much, DTM Malini. Let's give her a huge round of applause. I'd also like to further add that which I should have actually done it in the beginning to ascertain the quorum available for this entire meeting. Our membership right now on the dashboard is 18, although we are 20 members. I'll go by whatever is in the dashboard, 18 members. So the majority would be somewhere around 10 members, majority that is required to conduct this meeting. And therefore, we are more than 10 members here. And therefore, we've attained the majority to conduct the meeting. So we are in order. So thank you very much. So election is now concluded. A hearty congratulations to all the leaders who've been elected. And I would now like to take this opportunity to invite DTM Deepa Surendran to say a few words as your speech of acceptance. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, champion evaluators. Do you remember the nervousness faced before appearing for your 10th standard exam? We get the same feeling if we reappear for the 10th, even if after even after our graduation, even after PhD, right? This, I get the same feeling of uncertainty because I am accepting this particular prestigious role of this club's president. Yes, I am scared actually. But I am also immensely proud and blessed to have this opportunity to learn from all of you. That is the main advantage and main attraction. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And being part of the CET, though I missed so many meetings, I learned a lot whenever I came over here. Evaluation is tough for me. And I mean, though Dr. Bellal asked me that question and I answered somehow, it is very difficult for me to evaluate, especially focusing on the positives and improvement areas. It's not easy. So the concept of starting such a club was brilliant. And I mentioned to Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika, our incoming CGD at that time itself. So, and this club is having all the brilliant people. So I'm getting an opportunity to learn. But one thing I would like to remind is this concept is a brilliant concept, as I already mentioned. And this has to, to be spread or mentioned to everybody, not only in your district, but in our district, but in the entire world, because I have not seen such a concept or such a club in the world. So let's do that. I request all of you to spread awareness about this club in your own clubs, because this is an advanced club. We must be in other clubs as well. So please do that before every meeting. Everybody, please share this particular the flyer, the poster in your own clubs. If you are part of 5 clubs, like our treasurer Toastmaster, Distinguished Toastmaster Srivatsa, please share in all those 5 to 10 clubs. Please take that to 2 to 3 minutes of sharing or forwarding the poster. Because if somebody attends this club one time, then I'm sure we will grow in multiples. And the more people we have in front of us, more members we have in front of, then is when we are doing that public speaking practice. Otherwise, it's a classroom learning only. So I request all of you to make it as a public speaking opportunity or learning practice session in front of a public, even if it is a small screen. But more people are there, the better. Now, I request all of your support in helping each other to achieve their goals, along with achieving our own our goals as well. So that commitment is required. Please practice and then attend our club's meeting. It is not just coming over and then attend. It's not like that. Then we'll, after joining a Toastmasters club, we are not going to grow. If we need to grow, develop, then we have to come, we have to put our effort in practicing. So that is one thing I would like to, the second thing I would like to remind you. And then what I promise is to lead with dedication. I will spend time, and we will do this with open mind. Okay. So let's work together as a team, and fostering an environment where everyone feels empowered, and we all will work together to improve ourselves, help each other, so that the club will achieve excellence. So that at the end of the year, by this time, our club growth director will not come back and shout at us. So please keep that in your mind. Thank you for trusting me. Let's embark this journey of growth and excellence hand in hand. All the very best
Thank
to all
you.
of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you, and
Madam
hearty
President.
congratulations to you. I just want to remind you who just won the President Citation Award and who said she's scared. Okay, but one assurance from our side is that we are all there to support you. We are all in this together, so you can expect wholehearted support. The beautiful club that we have and the beautiful members that we have. Now, I speak on behalf of everyone. I think it's better if you all raise your hand also and say that we are there with you, Deepa. Yes, we are all there with you, Deepa. All right. So hearty congratulations again to all the ExCom members. Let's have a beautiful year ahead. And with that, I'd now like to adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much. And I'd like to say good night. Stay safe and sleep well. Yes, ma'am.
Do you want all EC members to be spotlighted?
Oh,
And
yes. I think
take
it's
one
better
picture?
we click a
Along
picture.